Now, I'm not one that normally follows food trends on social media. For example, I never chuffed a handful of cinnamon. But the other day, the lovely camera lady showed me a video of a recipe that I thought, man, that sounds really good, and we could make that outdoors. Now, my intent was to make this video when we were camping earlier this week, but the trout weren't biting very well, so we spent more time on the water than we'd expected, and then the hiking trails came in, so we never got around to it. But I did want to show you how to make this recipe. We're going to do it today in the Snow Peak Smokemeister. So hang around, let me show you what we're going to make, and I think you're going to really like it. Welcome back to Dickin' Around Outdoors. It's good to see you again. So what is the recipe that we're going to make today? None other than the simple smoked cream cheese. But I'm going to tell you, I'm excited about this one because it looks great. We've got the fire going. Before we show you the ingredients, which are minimal, please take a moment to subscribe if you haven't in the lower right hand corner. If you have subscribed, thanks very much. You mean the world to us. So the ingredients for today's recipe couldn't be easier. I've got an 8-ounce package of Philadelphia cream cheese that I've cut in half because we're going to use 2 spices today. I've got olive oil and I've got my 2 spices. So one of the spices that we're going to use today is the Spice House's Gateway to the North, which is a maple sugar blend that we really like. And the other one is simple cinnamon sugar that we're going to make for the kids so that they can use those on graham crackers. So what do? We basically just rub the cream cheese with olive oil, and then we sprinkle the spices on liberally. Now you're going to want to use a spice mix that's made for grilling or barbecuing because the long cook time on this would probably overwhelm some of the more herb-based blends. So that'd be the only caveat. Other than that, go crazy, use whatever spice rub you like. All right, we've got the cheese on the Smokemeister. Just did 2 layers. We've got some burning wood and charcoal in here, and I've put another piece of wood on there to make sure we keep the smoke up. This is going to smoke for about 3 hours, so I expect we'll have to recharge this at about the halfway point, but I wanted to show you how it looked. If you have not seen my video on the Snow Peak Smokemeister, I'm going to link that above so you can check this thing out. That's all there is to it. It's been 2 hours. I'm going to call this done. We've got about 95 degrees here today. It's really hot. The highest that I registered in my smoker was about 206, although given it's a column, I didn't get down to the bottom, so it's hard to tell. So let's see how this looks. Oh yeah, we've got some great color on these. They have spread out, but it didn't melt at all. So let's get these off, see how they taste. And I did want to mention the firebox stove. This thing works fantastic if you're just trying to light a little bit of charcoal or wood. It's a great chimney starter for this small amount of coal. So I did want to point that out. And here we have the final product. As you can see, I had about a 50% success rate getting these off of the trays and onto the platter, with the one on the right having fallen apart on my taking it off. So one first word of caution is you might let this cool down a little bit before you decide to move it off the cooking surface. The second thing is I cooked this for 2 hours, and I think it's plenty good. Initially I said 3 hours. I think that would have been too long. I think this looks really good at this point. So depending on your smoker, depending on your ambient temperature, I'd say just use your best judgment on how long you think this needs to smoke. The other thing I'll say is that it looks like the texture is a little more crumbly than cream cheese, but let's dig in and see how it tastes. The first one is going to be the Gateway to the North. And it is a bit more crumbly, but it's still got the creaminess to it. Let's see how this one tastes. The smoke is very prominent, so you might actually, if you're sensitive to smoke, let this sit a little bit. Maybe it'll dissipate. But the flavor is really good. So if you're like me and you like smoke, this is a whole nother dimension to this dip. The spice rub with its maple sugar, brown sugar, is sweet, but it's not overwhelmingly sweet. So this is really tasty. I like this. Let's see how the other one tastes. Now, if you recall, this is just cinnamon sugar, and we thought perhaps this would work as a s'mores-like thing or a dessert for kids. So let's see how this one came out. Roughly the same texture, potentially a little drier if it was in a different spot on a smoker. Well, this thing is not wanting to go on there for me. Let's see how this tastes. Oh yeah. That creates a dead ringer for a cinnamon graham cracker. And it kind of has a s'more-like taste, believe it or not. The smoke isn't as pronounced in this one. Maybe it's because of the spices, they kill it. Maybe it's the graham cracker. But I don't taste the smoke near as much in this one. And I think, honestly, if you put a chocolate bar with this, you would have a dead ringer for a s'mores. This is really good. So, what do I think about the smoked cream cheese? I think it's an interesting little snack. I think it's easily done at camp if you have the smoker or a smoker. You can do it at home easily. Temperature, 225, 250. Start checking it in a couple hours. But I think it's tasty. It's a unique thing. It's something new. So I like it. So as always, thank you to all of our subscribers. We do appreciate you. If you haven't subscribed, please take a moment to punch the button in the lower right-hand corner. And if you like this video, please share it with your friends. Take care, and we'll see you outdoors.